What's going on, everybody? Let me double check, make sure. All right, I got a live mic. Do you got a live mic? Are you alive?
I like to think I'm pretty alive these days.
We're good. Audio's clear. Welcome to the Blitz Breakdown, presented by Blitzalytics.com, where scouting meets analytics. You meet the newest crop of off-field talent. I am Jack Bourgeois. That is Ashton Moore. At Jack Bourgeois. At Ashhole1056. What's going on, my dude?
What's popping, dude?
Well,
we have
what is popping? Hold on.
Sweet. Oh damn!
Cheers,
I missed the opportunity. This one's gonna be water. But
well,
I'll catch up.
Solace is everything. It's a new double hazy IPA by our sponsors, Key City Brewing. Cheers, y'all.
Cheers, absolutely. Still waiting on mine. I guess it's in the mail.
That's good. It will be on the mail as of Monday. If I would have sent it earlier, in the week and then it got stuck on on a weekend, you don't want that. I got you. Monday, I got you. You and Drew will have your beer. But we got football to talk about. We can talk beer. We can talk beer off the clock, but on the clock, we do have some football to talk about.
Absolutely.
Last night, before bed, I was getting ready to chill, lay down, and I was like, ding, oh yeah, Hard Knocks. I still haven't watched Hard Knocks.
Perfect time for it.
It was, you get ready, just hitting the time to crash or just relax and, kick the boots off and boom, Hard Knocks. And it did not disappoint. I'll tell you what, even as a Dallas Cowboy hater, it did not disappoint, not one bit. I was thoroughly entertained from start to finish, didn't look at my phone, didn't check anything else. I was just glued to the TV.
It was just good quality content, and I didn't expect to walk away with the feelings of the players that I did. I'm really interested to see how Dak Prescott handles this preseason. He seems very almost hard-headed that he's should be getting these snaps, he should be getting these reps, and I don't really have much, I would say, confidence in Mike McCarthy being the guy to write this team to the promised lands. It just doesn't mesh. It doesn't look like a championship team. It looks like there's going to be a lot of things just kind of popping up, and it's going to be a really good season, I think. And I can't remember the last time it was it had me okay, I'm pumped for next episode, because last year's was more about what they were doing during that time and how they were making camp still go on and rebounding, whereas this is more what is Jerry Jones' expectations for this year's team? And he's going to be great content just in himself. Jerry Jones is old, dude.
Oh, I know, man. Seeing him getting emotional, you could tell that he is embracing this training camp right now because he doesn't know how many more he's got.
You could see it.
He's the devil in blue as far as I'm concerned, and yet I still was a little heartfelt, emotional at that. Hearing him get all choked up, I mean,
you almost root for the guy, but
almost.
Right.
Let's get that clear. Almost. I'm not going that far.
No, they're doing a good job at painting him as a really good guy. So it's going to be fun to see how this off season goes, where this preseason goes. And apparently he just got an MRI. So the team account tweeted out everyone calm down, but we're giving him another MRI. It was just a weird thing for the official account to tweet out. It's just not something you usually see, but it seems like that's kind of what this preseason is going to be like. It's they know they're here for a show, so they're going to be they're going to play it up, I think. And so far, so good.
Yeah, I will say this: the camaraderie, or I guess the lack of
mojo moments, dude. Oh my goodness.
The mojo moment. Yeah. Oh my god, dude.
Whack. You're so.
What are we in the 1990s? Mike McCarthy hasn't changed his playbook. Apparently, I bet you. You know what? I would love to know. I can almost guarantee you that same speech, that same mojo, that same video was recycled from Green Bay. I almost guarantee it.
Austin Powers hasn't been relevant in a minute.
Hey, dude, I love me some Austin Powers.
We need
that doesn't resonate with any of your teammates or any of the players.
My parents love this shit.
I know. Yeah, I remember watching this when I was 3 years old. When I first watched that movie, I was 6 or 7 years old. So you can only imagine a 21-year-old, a 20-year-old rookie being like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah. All right.
Like,
cool.
Are we going into the Stone Age?
And what was it? What is a mojo moment? Do you have a grasp of what that's supposed to be?
I guess, I mean, like, I guess he's trying to talk about, like, swagger, like your mojo
right.
is like
so
your swagger,
is it like
the
hurry up? Is it a hurry up drill? Like, what are they?
No,
actually
I mean,
performing?
I think it's just like
situational, like, oh, mojo moment, you're in the red zone. Like,
I don't know. I really don't. I wish
but it's
I had,
fun.
Yeah,
it's
your
fun
mojo
to make it
moment.
like that's not my
but
team.
No, but Mike McCarthy shouldn't even have a goddamn job right now. That's just the truth of the matter. Is Jerry Jones?
I hope it's really true that he got the job because he told them that he spent a year off learning about analytics and like implementing that into his game plan. And then he actually got the job. And then he's like, oh, I was just kidding. Like, I didn't do any of that. Like, I'm still doing my same old bag of tricks. But I have some Cowboys fans, friends who I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Like, I've heard it.
Yeah, the dynamic. That's what I was the word I was looking for. The dynamic between head coach and quarterback.
Weird.
So awkward. Off. I have never seen like Mike McCarthy's reaction to Dak being hurt. It sounded like a child. Like he came off as super petty, super immature. My mic a little closer. I did not like I liked what I seen from Dak. I really liked what I seen from Zeke, and I have been on that fat ass's ass for 2 years now. Calling him lazy and calling him all kinds of things, and you know what?
You back on the train?
Fuck, feed that man. He looks like a beast right now. Like, did you see they showed like his crop top with a little bit of a belly, and then the crop top with the big old belly last year, and then this year, and it's just like just chiseled. I mean, he looked like a Greek god right now.
He's looking a little too lean. Like I want him at Ohio State levels.
Does that scare you a little bit?
Kinda.
Like to take the
we're
bait
talking
in fantasy?
17 games. We're talking 17 games. Like that's a lot of workload. But I agree. Like you're paying him to give him that type of workload, and he's built to be that kind of running back. Like that's how I'll just always remember his game.
But then you hear him talking about you hear him talking to what is it? Not what's Jerry Jones' son's name? Stephen Jones. Stephen. Anyways, that fucker. You hear him talking to him, and he's like, yeah, so we're gonna give him no carries or no nothing this preseason. You know, he's got a really heavy, he's got X amount of carries on him. You know, on the tires. Like,
that was interesting. They were like by the book, by the numbers. I was like, interesting. I did not peg them as analytical.
If you are a head coach, I'd hope you know how many carries your running backs have, like career-wise. Yeah. That's a pretty easy one. Like there's no other stat that's a tread on the tire stat like it is when you're talking about a running back and carries. But still, how do you expect him to get his body hardened? Like, it's one thing when it's a quarterback, like to not have any reps in preseason.
Right.
Like there's talks, I think
you need to get hit. You need to condition the body for damage.
Yeah, they talked about Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers. They're like, yeah, Aaron Rodgers probably ain't gonna see any playing time. Well, like that's fine. Aaron Rodgers. He can still make every throw during practice that he needs to. Like, there's not gonna be a whole lot of difference for a running back. Like that's asking a linebacker to not get tackled or not tackle anybody all preseason. And you've seen how that went with Michael Parsons.
Yeah.
That was nice. Again, I hate that the Cowboys draft so well and they have so many of my favorite players on there because Michael Parsons is going to be a beast in this league.
I just can't support the amount of draft capital they've used at one position like they have
linebacker for what, the last 3 or 4 seasons?
Dude, and then Van Der Esch might not even stay. So like it's some I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what Dan Quinn drafts it up with. I'd imagine he was a big piece in putting him there, but it seems like they're going to move him around. Like he's a stud. I really like Parsons coming out. And
they had him blitz.
He's a weapon.
They had him rushing the passer as a blitz, interior blitzer. I mean, and the few plays that they had him on the field for that game, like he was all over the place. I mean, you couldn't have a better one series than he did. Fumble recovery, a bunch of tackles, a disruption in the backfield.
And the Steelers just look bad. It is. But hey, it's preseason. It was even worse. It was Hall of Fame game. Like you had nobody of real significance, which is interesting that they're.
Did you see?
I'm just shocked they're playing again tonight. Like that's.
But like, why do you say that though? Like, what's the reasoning behind it? Like, do they need a mini bye after their very first week back in action, where most of the guys who are playing tonight didn't play last week?
I guess it could be beneficial.
But I mean, it's just
maybe.
What does it matter if they have 7 or 10 days? Like, it was
my mind
just
immediately goes to Najee Harris. Like it's because they're gonna use him the fuck out of him this game tonight. If last week's any indication, and they're gonna get him reps. Like they're about to feed Harris this year. It looks like. Which is great. Feed him,
but you know what, dude? This is the one year where I think I might have actually like learned my lesson, and I'm not going to jump in head first at some of these rookie running backs like I have in years prior.
No.
I mean, and I think I had like Jonathan Taylor on my team. I had like Clyde Edwards-Helaire on my team. Like I had like Dobbs on my team last year. Like I went so head first in on rookie running backs last year, and I would say it bit me in the ass, but like I was that one. What was it? Sammy Watkins touchdown that wasn't a touchdown away from winning the entire league last year in like my big boy league. So I'm pretty upset about that still. Do you remember which one I'm talking about?
I think so.
We're like, was it AB? I want to say it was Sammy Watkins. I think it was Sammy Watkins. Or was it? I'm trying to figure out who it was. Anyways, whoever, there was like an actual, damn, who was that? They caught the ball and they didn't even realize. They caught the ball and they didn't realize they caught the ball.
It was Tyreek.
That was, it was Tyreek Hill. Okay, yeah.
He caught it, yeah. It went in and then like he caught it in his arm.
That
and
game.
He got up and he was like, oh.
That play led to me not winning that game, which led to me not having, like, missing the playoffs because, like, and if I would have made the playoffs, every matchup I would have played, I would have destroyed them. Like, heartbreaking.
Still hurts.
I hate.
I would say I would draft all of last year's rookie running backs this year.
Say what?
Not all of them, but like I'm big on all of the running backs from last year.
Oh yeah, the sophomore running backs of this draft class. Oh yeah. Like I'm getting right back on the train. The players that I like reached for last year, and not even necessarily reached for, like that I just I went after.
Yeah,
Antonio Gibson. Antonio Gibson was another one that I had last year. Like I literally had every rookie running back on like most of my teams outside of the Blitz
didn't really
league. Like
go until the end.
You can't hide shit in the Blitz league. Like everybody knows every bit of information that you know because we all publish our information. So
right, no everyone's kind of exposing their rankings.
Yeah,
I feel. Fine.
I know, but I do feel like the Blitz League it's not none of that is bullshit, but it's like it's such a crapshoot because we're so everybody's so on top of it. Like it's so hard to win, and if you do win, like
those are you kind of had ones,
you had to have some things go your way. But again, that's fantasy football every year, right?
Right.
All right. But I mean, anything else you could take away from that first episode 1 of Hard Knocks? Because it confirms that I don't like Mike McCarthy. I really like Dak Prescott, the person at least.
Right, right.
Like that's the kind of guy you want leading the team. Like,
got a lot of adversity. He's really excited to get through it and get on the other side and be back to successful. Like it's cool to watch someone that driven. And he's like vocally coming out and saying like how displeased he is with this pitch count that they're instilling.
Go fuck himself. Like I didn't want you in there. I didn't ask you. I didn't ask you to go in there for me.
He directly went against McCarthy. Like that's
bro, and that's gonna be. And what happens? This is training camp.
This is what happened with Rodgers. This is how this began.
I know, dude.
Rodgers used to say like,
3 weeks.
Yeah, when they're not.
Do you
winning,
see them
they're gonna go 6-11
in the next couple of weeks? Do you see? Like, do you remember when like BA was sitting with Jameis and they were just sitting there like having those conversations,
right?
Or like when Gruden is talking to Derek Carr, like you remember having those conversations and like how good everything went, like, and how they're almost like buddy. I don't think we're ever gonna see that in Hard Knocks this year.
No, that's what makes it so cool, and that's what's gonna make it so interesting to watch. Is that it isn't buddy. There's like legitimate I would be watching as a Dallas fan. I'd be watching Hard Knocks with concern. Like, Yeah, I'd be like, oh,
some severe concern.
Shit. But it's cool that it's cool that it is the Cowboys. Like,
yeah, I know. We can just like 31 other fan bases just get to shit on Hard Knocks all year.
This is great.
Like, did you hear? Turn it up before we get off onto the next topic or subject or wherever we go with this conversation. Did you see the whole Skip Bayless thing?
No, I don't want to Skip Bayless.
Oh my God, you have to watch it. I wish we could play it right now. Just to get your reaction. But Skip Bayless, their female host, like the host of the show that does that between the Skip and Bayless, whatever that show's called, I always forget. And I forget her name.
Bayless.
She's the blonde. I forget what it is. The Skip and. Anyways, we all know what we're talking about. Skip and Bayless have a show on Fox Sports 1. Feel free to look it up. Anyways, the blonde who is I guess the host. Like she does the hosting and then they do the analyst stuff. Basically, and what's funny is I'm glad I got to listen to that clip first before I listened to watch
he's arguing with Jenny Taft.
Yeah, about him being overweight. He like talked some shit on Mike McCarthy being obese and like overweight. And she's like, I don't give a damn what my head coach like weighs. Like, look at Bruce Arians, look at all this other things. And I was like,
look at Andy Reid.
It's very true. But then you hear him giving a speech and you hear this like wheezing like breath behind every word. And you're like, kind of sounds unhealthy. Like, it sounds very unhealthy.
I mean, it's American sport, and sometimes you're just gonna have some fat coaches. It's not like he's like Mark Mangino. Is it Mark Mangino? Remember him? He was a Kansas coach back in the day. That was a big dude. He was like bigger than Reid's ever been, and Andy Reid's always been a pretty big dude.
Yeah, but I've never heard Andy Reid like. But I can't think of a time where I've ever heard Andy Reid be like out of breath from just giving a speech.
Yeah,
and if you go back to the whole Mojo speech, or even just when he's standing in front of him, he's going after like every breath, and I'm like,
so you're riding with Skip, is what you're saying?
Not really, no, because look at BA is like, but I mean BA is kind of a different, like BA's old, you know, BA's just a big old guy, like he's always kind of been a bigger old guy, like there's a difference between being like a big old boy and like, you know, that good old boy size. And kind of being husky or overweight. And I'm not here to judge or like give a damn really, but I could see where Skip was coming from in the sense of like
getting his fodder from.
That sounded unhealthy. Like it sounded like he had COVID.
Just be in shape, I guess.
I should atata myself on that one, but
huh?
I said it sounded like he had COVID, but I should atata myself on that one. Yeah, I know, but oh my God, yeah.
It was cool. I'm looking forward to watching it. CeeDee Lamb looks like a monster. Cowboys secondary looks terrible.
Do you think that either of them, Michael Gallup,
they should sign back Alden Smith? He got cut by the Seahawks. I think they should.
I wonder what for. I wonder if he like lipped off to Russell Wilson or something.
Well, he had some sort of legal issue, or I think it was like maybe I don't know if it's. I don't know. I don't want to.
Alden Smith an illegal issue? No.
Right, exactly. So it's kind of. I think it's that.
I'm rooting for him. I enjoyed seeing him back on the field. I was totally rooting for him last year. Actually, even
it's cool. I love a good redemption story, but
who doesn't?
Seems to not be able to get out of his own way.
Even if it's for the wrong team, you always enjoy seeing when someone make a comeback.
Yeah, and it'd be great Hard Knocks content, like just getting Alden Smith back and seeing. Like, I'd like to see what Alden Smith is like in the locker room. Like, I'd like to get some insight into the guy as a character, but we'll see. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to next week.
I know. I want to see how that dynamic between those three linebackers pans out. Like what happens with Van Der Esch. Like that's kind. I mean, I guess it really isn't a competition because like Van Der Esch is the clear-cut number 3 because he doesn't have a contract. One just got drafted in the first round. The other one has like a long-term contract, or not like long-term.
Jalen Smith, even someone you're like, they did re-sign him. But like, I don't know. I guess Jalen Smith's a really big like behind-the-scenes guy, or like great in the locker room.
Oh, that's what I have heard that. I've heard that from like day one. That's why they drafted him. They wanted to draft. They were contemplating still drafting him.
Okay, then I want more Jalen Smith.
Yeah,
I
like Jalen Smith. Again, injuries, like, lingering. I mean, stuff. He's had stuff, too. I mean, that's the thing is, like, I kind of don't blame him. When you've had so much uncertainty at a certain position, like, just fuck it. Like, let's get it done. Like, let's just throw everything we have at it and just, like, be over with and done with this headache. And so I feel like they're now done with the headache of the linebacker position because they're going to have somebody.
I mean, when we touched on this a little bit last week, I just think it's inefficient to overload one position on a football team with higher contracts or just really capital. Like, you need to, I mean, it's obviously easy to say you need to hit on your picks, but I just think it's rather inefficient to draft 3 linebackers in the top 2 rounds in, like, what's it, 3 years? 4 years?
I think 3 out of 4 years they drafted a linebacker in the top round or 2.
I just think there's a lot better way to allocate your resources. But hey, let's watch it and see what happens.
But if there's one position on a defense that can completely alter, like, linebacker may not be the most important position. Obviously, you would say your number 1 corner, your edge rusher are. Mm-hmm. But I think if you have one player that makes more of an impact than anybody else, it's that middle linebacker center fielder position. I mean, you look at it with, like, the Levante Davids, the Devin Whites, obviously for my team, but, like, there's so many of those guys that literally with or without them, like, with or without, Dante Hightower, like, the Patriots are a completely different team or were a completely different team last year defensively. So
they're most of the time they're the ones that are calling the plays. So yeah, they're like the direct involvement of really what the coordinator's trying to do. So yeah, well, we'll see. I think it's going to be interesting to see how they use Parsons. I think he'd be quite good as a really just blitzer, anywhere just generate pressure, and then you could just have Smith and Van Der Esch as, like, the base interior linebackers, and they can kind of just man the middle of the field, and you just let Parsons roam everywhere, kind of like a linebacker Tyrann Mathieu, and just let him make plays. He can do it. He's nasty.
If you look at it, I feel like Dan Quinn is already, like, the leader of the coaching staff. Like, he is the rah-rah guy, but he also has the respect of the locker room. I feel like, again, I don't know, it was 1 episode, but way more than Mike McCarthy. Like, Dan Quinn, like, is one of those guys that he's like, I mean, former football player, like, defensive-minded head coach, like, he's somebody you can get behind as a player, especially as a young player, because he's got that rah-rah, like, crazy attitude, like, high energy guy, kind of like a Robert Saleh. Like, I feel like he's, like, going to be the Robert Saleh for this team. But, yeah, I think this is going to be a fucked locker room here. Like, I really don't think that...
I'm glad there's cameras there. And
I
we
know,
get access to see how it unfolds. Because
I
don't think it would be great. Who wins that division?
Handful of who wins that division? Ryan Fitzmagic and the Washington football team, baby. That defense? Are you kidding me?
You think they win tonight?
All he has to do is not mess it up. I mean, I don't know. The only reason why I don't say Dallas is because of Mike McCarthy. That's the only reason. Like, I think that's it's an implode. It's bound to implode. It is a ticking time bomb, like, of sorry ass unprofessional coaching. You don't hire Mike Nolan as your defensive coordinator if you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Plain and simple. He doesn't know what he's doing. I think he's the least qualified. He's got you have a Super Bowl ring, so obviously that gets you something, but I feel like he's currently the least qualified coach in the NFL right now. I feel like Gruden runs circles around him, being someone who took that long off in comparison to a year off.
I would say Cliff Kingsbury, but I know what you're saying.
But, say what you want to say about Gruden, but, like, everybody that plays for him wants to play for him, minus AB. But, like, everybody wants to play for him.
He's a character, I'll say that.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens with the Raiders this year. I can't wait to play him twice.
Don't shit on my boy, all right? Don't shit on my boy.
All right, no, you're good.
Blitz owes Mr. Gruden quite a bit here.
I know.
We wouldn't have gone to any football game if it wasn't for him. So
That's true. Props to Mr. Gruden. But like as you're saying, Fitzpatrick. I mean, I'm a big Fitzpatrick guy. He's a friend of the family. Like how could you not enjoy watching him? Just because he just goes for it all the time, and that's infectious, and all that's gas, fun, and
no break, baby.
Right, and that's awesome to like watch. But as an actual starting quarterback for an entire NFL season, what ceiling is there? Like he did well with the Dolphins last year. Like they took the job from him with Tua. So
yeah, I know he was playing well, and they took the job from him. So like, I don't know. Yeah. I don't see him having like a year like he did when he was playing with the Bucks. It's like there was just so much talent surrounding him. Like he's a gunslinger. Obviously, he's gonna have big ups.
Well, they got talent,
but they do have talent.
They got a good offensive line.
They have a decent offensive line. They've got bodies. They've got some good pass catchers. They've got a solid run game.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a damn good like, remember, this is the team that gave the Bucks the most fit from the bye week on. This is the only team that competed with the Bucks. And that was with Tyler Heineke.
He almost took it.
They almost took it. Almost, baby. Almost. God, yeah. You want to talk about being nervous? Ooh, man, I was...
But like, I want to see how Heineke. Like, I hope he gets first. I hope he gets first team snaps tonight. I don't think he will.
No, he won't. He hasn't earned that. Like, he hasn't earned that same respect that.
He's done more for them than Fitz has done. Fitz just,
but not for the league though. I mean, come on now, like.
Sure.
It's Fitz. We're talking about a former XFL quarterback. We're talking about a guy who played way above what was ever asked of him.
Would Fitz have made that game as close last year?
I don't know.
Against the Bucks?
Fitz might have won it. You never know. Like, that's the thing is, Fitz can win any game. I think a Fitz Magic-led team, not a Fitzpatrick, a Fitz Magic-led team.
Yeah,
you don't know which one you're going to get. Could be any team in the NFL. So who knows what kind of Fitz Magic would have happened that game. What I'm saying is,
think he's older,
I think he is, because of the experience, because of the Harvard grad level football IQ that Fitz has from the experience and veteran presence he brings. There's no doubt about it. I'm gonna say, and we can go down the list of all the QB camp battles going on right now. But I would bet my ass, I think on that one more than any other camp battle. More than any other camp battle right now. I feel best about that one. I think because
I would ask you, what would be your over/under right now on games started by Ryan Fitzpatrick this year? You think he's going to start 17 games?
Over/under, I would say the over would be.
I'm looking at 9. Yeah, I was looking at
like 9 or 10 games.
Like 9.5
then
over/under.
There's the Fitz magic element to this, but again, like they're riding with him. Like they definitely were like, all right, awesome, attaboy, you did super good, Heineke. Like we're gonna give you a contract. Like you deserve to come in and compete. That doesn't mean you're gonna be given like the keys of the franchise because you had a couple games where you played pretty damn good. That doesn't mean nothing. So I think they're ride or die with Fitz this year. And when they die and go to Heineke just to see like if they're like SOL in the season, then they'll go to Heineke and either let it completely go and tank, and find out at least. Because obviously like Fitz isn't your long-term answer. Fitz is everybody's 1-year option. And I think Fitz
I'm skeptical of the ceiling that he provides. And
what other team in that division right now? I mean, there's another QB. I mean, like, do you really think Jalen Hurts is going to be able to propel that team to 10 wins? Like, what's it going to take to win that division? 9 wins, 9-8, 10 and 10-7.
No, for sure. And that defense is good enough to get them to 9 wins.
Yeah,
that pass rush in particular.
Like,
and
look at Dallas'
line,
defense.
really.
Trash. trash. Yeah. At least in the second half, like the back end, it's bad. They didn't fix it at all.
Yeah, and that's kind of like my whole thing of like, why are you spending 3 high round picks on linebackers when everywhere else on the defense needs help?
But yeah, well, they didn't need.
We don't have to go back to the Cowboys.
They didn't need CeeDee Lamb last year either.
No, they didn't. But man, does he put on a show? And Jerry Jones loves a good show.
I never got that question in.
And apparently McDonald's. Did you saw that they bleeped out McDonald's?
Yeah.
When he's on the phone, like, hey, they didn't pay. No, it's just funny that like everyone's like, that's definitely.
But then
McDonald's.
Did you also see that Jerry Jones was eating McDonald's?
That's what I'm saying. That's cool. That's interesting. Like, Jerry Jones eats McDonald's. I'd imagine he had something like on a white plate, like a nice croissant.
I am worth $1 billion or billions of dollars.
Yeah.
That shit food is never even gonna touch my plate, much less come within 20 yards of me.
That's probably a nostalgic thing. Like, I mean, when he was coming up with the McDonald's,
Warren Buffett like eats McDonald's every day and is eating McDonald's every day of his life. But like that stuff,
it's cheap.
The last time I ate McDonald's, I was on the side of the freeway doing you know what, like.
Yeah, it
wasn't good.
I mean, you know how you become a billionaire is you save billions of dollars, and I guess you have to, eat McDonald's every now and then and penny pinch to really get over those.
Benefit.
It's cost beneficial, baby. That's
to eat McDonald's every day. I'm sorry. I feel like eating from home is still cheaper than that. But
yeah,
I don't know. There's a lot of camp battles. There's been talks about Gardner Minshew's in the camp battle with Lawrence. Like I feel like all these quarterbacks are just these coaches are just trying to save face and keep that like competitive nature in camp right now. But
especially Urban Meyer, like he's trying to come in and like just be like nobody has a start. Like he's just doing the rah typical coach thing. But
what if there is
like Travis Etienne's just a third down back? No, he's gonna be everywhere. But like at the time, like he's only deserved to be James Robinson's got the guy now, but they're going to use their weapons. But for training camp purposes, yeah, everybody's competing. Everybody's going to get out here and do their best because you have the guy next to you trying to take your job type mentality. But I'm here for it.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. And I'm just happy that fucking football's back, dude. Like
I know. We got about 19.
And then we get the Patriots tonight. We get to see how they're going to handle Cam and Mac.
Yeah, that's another. I think that's the most intriguing. It's not even a camp battle because it's Cam's job, but I think that's going to be the most intriguing QB battle this whole season. So I can't wait to see what we get tonight between the two of them and who gets first reps and if, obviously, Cam will get first reps, but how much reps with the starters is...
But even then, like, it's interesting with the Pats because how many, like, true starters are there? Like, who would you say their number one wide receivers? Like Aguilar, Jacoby Myers, like
it's definitely Nelson Aguilar. Like
so is Mac Jones going to get any reps with Aguilar? Is he going to get any reps with? I don't know who they have
Hunter
really
Henry
slotted in.
Johnny Smith.
Well, Henry's hurt, but I hope he at least gets like offensive line first snaps. Like that he gets starters so he doesn't.
Regardless,
you can at least see what he has to work with.
I want to see him for at least 2 quarters this. So, like, they'll probably do a couple, 1, maybe 2. I mean, obviously, like, it's going to be different because normally you have 4 games. So, like, you give them a little time the first game. Second game, you give them more time. Third game, you give them, like, almost a half. And then fourth game, you cut them off. Now we only have 3 games. So, like, where do you do that? Do you give them all the time right now and then start teetering it off, or do you kind of ramp it up from here? I don't know how they're going to go about it, but yeah, the Patriots quarterback controversy or QB room is going to be.
I kind of hope they do a 2 QB system, like you remember like the Mike Leake and the Tim Tebow system, where like Tebow would just come in on the scoring plays. Yeah. Mike Leake would be like in between the 20s. Is it Mike Leake or Chris Leake? I think it's Chris Leake.
Same. I know you're talking.
I know like a 2 QB system. Like, I mean, Cam's still a good, like, short, like, third and short runner. Like, he'll score if he's on the goal line.
Yeah.
And I think you're just going to have to actually coach. He's going to have to coach his ass off because he has a lot of players that have their, like, specific roles that they're good at. But, like, in terms of a genuine number one playmaker, I think it's got to be Jonnu Smith, at least right now, right? Like, who's the leading number one weapon? James like the way White, you'd say, like, Darren Waller is the same way.
I don't know. Like,
I don't think White's gonna. Maybe. I mean, who knows?
I don't know. I mean, James White got hurt last year, so he wasn't even like.
Yeah. Sony Michel's healthy for the first time in his career. He's the first time he's opened camp.
This is one of my favorite words, but they have a plethora of running backs right now in that room. I love it.
I mean, it's going to just be, they're just going to have to out-scheme people because they're not going to out-Joe that it's more X's and O's than, how do they say, Jims and Joes? Whatever. But yeah, no, I'm excited about that. And then the Eagles, I mean, we'll see what Jalen Hurts is all about. I think, Devontae Smith isn't going to be playing.
No, Rager, he's out for a few weeks.
Actually, the person I'm most excited to watch on the Eagles is going to be I was looking at their depth chart earlier. I mean, it's a bullshit depth chart that some interns probably threw together. But Tyree Jackson, do you remember Tyree Jackson, the quarterback from
Kentucky? Like 6'8", monster, cannon for an arm.
And he ran like a 4.6. Like, he ran something stupid.
Yeah, it was like a 4.58 at like 240 or 250 pounds. Like, he makes Josh Allen look small.
He had a cannon. He had a cannon of an arm.
Yeah, and that's why they brought. Didn't they bring him in with Josh when I think they brought him and Josh in the same year. They signed him as an unrestricted free agent or an undrafted free agent. But yeah, he'll be interesting. That'll be a fun one.
But no, he plays tight end now.
What? Oh yeah, you know what? I do remember that. I do remember seeing that.
What you'll watch for him tonight. You're gonna see exactly which one he is because he's fucking huge. But he runs like a gazelle. Apparently, like I think they're gonna implement him pretty heavy this year. Yeah, if you made it this far, there's your deep dynasty scoop of the week. That is fucking Tyree Jackson because I think he's just going to be too dynamic to keep off the field. And, and I think Ertz is probably going to get traded at some point. My leading contenders to the Texans, I think I said a few weeks back, I think they're going to trade 3 firsts, Ertz, Hurts, and I think they're going to do Rager. But they just can't.
I was about to be like, what draft capital? Oh, Deshaun Watson, never mind.
Yeah. Deshaun Watson.
That does make sense. It would be. I could definitely see. I could so see Deshaun Watson in an Eagles uniform too. I so can. It makes so much sense with the draft capital. Now there's still a chance that's going to be a first round pick for Carson Wentz. He's expected to be back by week 1 now.
They have 3 first rounders next year. They can just do 2 of those and 1 afterwards.
They do not have 3 first rounders because like Carson Wentz has to play basically all season for that to be through. It's a conditional. It's a second. It could be a first.
Apparently, he's coming back week 1. This is the same. It's the same team that said,
he may come back week 1, but can he play all? I think he has to play like 80% of the snaps or some shit like that. But that one will be good. I want to see what that Eagles offensive line starts to look like because I know Dillard's injured right now. He's not going to be playing.